I love that we get to do our panel after being inspired by Dr. Kochan. So I'm excited to introduce the next part of our program. I'm Missy Green with SETDA. If you don't know me, I'm the Director of Strategic Partnerships. I work with all the wonderful companies who make SETDA's work possible, especially events like this. So thank you. Big shout out to all our partners. So we're going to expand our view now of the topic beyond the borders of our states. And we're going to explore a topic that's being discussed at almost all major world leader gatherings across the globe. From the World Economic Forum gathering in Davos, Switzerland, the G20 summit in Osaka, Japan, and the United Nations General Assembly in New York. Oh, and even at the ISTE summit in June in Philadelphia. So the topic of technologies transforming the future of work is top of mind for everyone, including us here at SETDA. So as state education leaders in the US or even outside of the US, whether you're a leader in tech, assessment, instructional materials, professional development, or a private sector partner that supports these leaders and makes possible solutions that enhance learning, we felt it would be important to bring this topic to you from a global perspective so that it might shape the way you go about serving students and ensure the work that we do prepares them for the constantly evolving future of work. And that's our theme that has resonated through all of our sessions and will continue to resonate throughout the rest of the afternoon. So to that end, we invited Giancarlo Brotto. He's a global education strategist and co-founder of Catalyst. So Catalyst, you'll learn about this, is a unique global platform that connects leaders to instigate change. So Giancarlo helped us put together and moderate this talented panel that we have before us today. And we're going to share and discuss what's happening globally and locally here in the US. And really we're hoping to find inspiration from their insights. So following this panel, we will have breakout sessions where you can have small group discussions on this topic. So that being said, I'm going to hand it over to Giancarlo, and he's going to introduce our expert panelists joining us today. So Giancarlo, thank you.
So I have the distinct pleasure of introducing this talented panel, and when I thought of listing some of the accomplishments and work that they do, I thought I could spend the entire hour just going through that. So I'm going to do my best to make it brief, succinct, but I want you to pay attention to the lens that they bring to this conversation, because really our intent is to make this open, different perspectives, so that when you go back to your breakouts after this, you can have a more wholesome discussion. So we're going to start with Dr. Jennifer Adams here to my left. She comes from Ottawa, Canada, and very well known across Canada as superintendent of Canada. We call it directors of education. It's a chief superintendent. The school had about 150 schools in it, 73,000 students. But what's interesting is it's not about the work that she's done in addition to, she'll talk about it, it's the work that she's done outside of it with leaders and how do you instigate transformation and change throughout it. So she got her Doctor of Education at the Ontario Institute for Studies and Education at the University of Toronto in administration, and that's where she got her, her work. She started doing her work on leadership in curriculum and instructional planning. So she's a speaker internationally all across the globe. She leads academic research to make sure it gets into policy and practice. Of interest, though, when the OECD, we'll talk about this later, that PISA assessments, as most people know from that organization, started working on something, and Canada got involved. And they said, who should we send to represent Canada? And Dr. Jennifer Adams was their choice. And not only did she represent, she became the chair of a study on social emotional learning, which is the world's first international assessment on social emotional learning. We'll talk a bit about that later. She's also on the executive committee of Karanga. They're going to be formally launching in January. It's the world's global alliance for social emotional life skills. So we'll get to hear a little bit of that as well. And she's the CEO and founder of the organization, SETDA Education Leaders Consulting, which is helping translate all this great work into action at a leadership level across the globe. So Jennifer, we're fortunate and delighted for you to join us on this panel. You can give her a round of applause already. Also across the border, we thought we'd start with our international travels, and we came quite a distance further. This is Lasse Remmer, and he's from Copenhagen, Denmark, out of the University College in Copenhagen. It's this new building, and actually it's a very thirst-quenching campus that has the Campus Carlsberg, right? Is where it comes from. Those of you who drink beer appreciate that. And in this campus, this new department, they're focusing on new pedagogies, learning spaces, and technologies. And specifically, they have what's called a future classroom lab. And Martin, Martin, put your hand up. Martin's here as well, so make sure you have a chance to connect with these fellows. Because the idea is to provide what they do for the country is to provide impartial guidance as it relates to how we look about the frame technology in their classrooms. They also provide a lot of instructional supports for teachers and development of teachers throughout the country. And the whole idea of this initiative is to help progress what technology looks like within schools. Now it's interesting, the Danish Education put together an expert group because they're looking at creating a new compulsory subject. And the subject, I'm going to try it, is called Technology Close. Is that close? No, that's not close. It's under that. And so, of course, they asked Lasse to be a part of that, so he'll talk a bit about what that looks like. The other reason Lasse is here is that he's actually representative for the Danish government for an organization called European Schoolnet. Has anybody heard of European Schoolnet? So picture SETDA, but instead of states, countries, right? And the countries get together to have similar conversations that you have about progressing education forward. So Lasse is speaking on behalf of Denmark, but also he'll talk a bit about the work of all the European countries. He didn't know I was going to say that, but he'll speak a bit about that work as it's relevant. So round of applause for and now homegrown. So now ironically we sat close to the flag, so I'm Canadian as well, so the Canadians on this side, US, and then in the middle we have overseas. So we have Dr. Tom Kochan, who's from MIT, the Sloan Institute for Work and Employment Research. And I mean, he's done so much within there. I'm just going to quickly summarize. So he's a George Maverick Bunker Professor of Management. He's a Professor of Work and Employment Research. More interestingly, he's the co-director of this Institute on Work and Employment Research. They look at work and employment policies across the US. He recently wrote a book on shaping the future of work, and it's about tangible action and looking at how we need to redefine a new social contract that came out last year. What's interesting about MIT, if you know it, they're kind of responsible for creating these technologies which are disrupting the nature of work. And I'll have Tom talk about the story, how it got started, but they created a task force. They said we need to look at what the implications of these technologies have on the future of work and what that means for employers, employees, higher education institutions, K-12 institutions, and governments. And so he's here giving us that lens. He's an expert in it. I came to know him because I was a student in his class, and part of the takeaway of the class was make sure, because we were an international group that took it, I said make sure, we hope the spirit of this course is on the future of work, that you go back into your countries and into the work that you do, and you help diffuse and spread and take action on the work that you learned. I don't think he knew that I was actually going to invite him to events, so that he can participate in creating action, but we're pleased and excited that you're here to join us. So a round of applause. And last but not least, to make sure that we have our US context and see what's happening in the great state of the United States, we have Stump, who's the Assistant Secretary for Career and Technical Adult Education right here in the US Department of Education. He served as an officer on the National Association of State Directors of Career and Technical Education, served on the National Skills USA Board of Directors as the official liaison. Prior to that, he was the Chief Operating Officer of Viviec, I think it's pronounced, which is a learning solution provider, and some of their work obviously catered around, centered around the work that he's doing now. He's Assistant Provost, State Director of Career and Technical Education with Colorado Community College System, as well as the State FFA Advisor, the Agriculture Program Director, Intern President of Northeastern Junior College. And so he'll be providing the U.S. context on this discussion. So let's give him a warm welcome. And so we're going to get right into it, because what we want to start, and Vince did a great job in warming us up to this topic, but let's start by getting a sense of the technologies that are shifting the nature of work and the skills that are shifting. Tom, I thought perhaps we could start with you, since MIT is responsible for some of these technologies and disruptors. Can you give us a sense of what we mean by that, and what these technologies are doing, and how they might be disruptors or enablers?
Sure. Well, thank you. And thank you all for the good work that you do and the importance that you place on preparing people for the future of work. When I think about the future of work, and when I see the wonderful things that are happening at MIT, I want to paraphrase our president, Raphael Reif. And he says, look, we invent all this stuff here, but then as president, I go out there in the real world, and I find people are angry about us because too many people are left behind. Fearful of their jobs. People don't know why we do what we do. So Raphael created this task force on work of the future that said, let's not just try to predict the future, let's figure out what we can do to create a more inclusive society with technology. And so when I think about technology, I don't think about it as some autonomous piece of hardware or software. It is a tool that people invent, that people develop together and then integrate into our workplace. And so as we go about our task of thinking about changes in technology, let's think holistically. It's not the hardware separated from the way in which we do work. We have learned over many years, and I studied the auto industry on this, I studied healthcare, my colleagues have studied IT. We have learned that when we integrate technology, whether that's artificial intelligence in healthcare for diagnosing patients, whether that's robotics and advanced manufacturing in our manufacturing production sectors, whether that's various forms of big data and logistics in our transportation and our warehousing and retail industries. All these are integrated with the way in which work is changing. And the way we get the best innovation and the way in which we bring the workforce along with the technology is to integrate it with the work that they are doing and to integrate it with training and development. And let me just illustrate this with a story from MIT. About 10 years ago, we talked a lot with employers about what do you think about our graduates? And the common refrain that we got back is, oh, your MIT graduates, they're wonderful, they're brilliant, they know all this technical stuff, but they don't have a clue as to how to get anything done when they're hired. And that was an eye-opening experience for many at MIT. So we created a course called People in Organizations, and we created a whole series of changes in the engineering education process and in the management school that basically help people to understand how you get work done, how you take your ideas, how you integrate technology with work processes. If there's one challenge, let's not separate the technology for how we get work done, because that's really the key to the future.
Scott, sorry, Tom, just to jump in on that. When I think of the role that you have in helping school districts get where they need to be, it's a very similar analogy, because what school districts are doing is they're thinking first and foremost about teaching and learning and student learning. And similarly, it can't be driven with technology. Technology has to be integrated like that into the workplace, where it's actually helping to expand, enhance, expedite, etc. That's what will excite the superintendents and the school districts that you're working with. So very similar parallels between the world of work and the learning worlds that we're working with.
Absolutely, absolutely. And in education, it's important that you, the educators, pull that technology in, not having it pushed down from vendors, but asking how will it enhance our learning and how can we use it, how can our students engage it. And you tell the vendors what you need, and you tell the designers of technology you want to be a part of shaping those technologies, those tools. In a week from now, I'm going to sit with with podcasts with the American Teachers Federation. And when we prepared for this, because they asked to have a session like this, they gave me story after story that you could all repeat that said, we get all this stuff thrown on our desks, and then we have to try to make it work. And it's a waste of money if they would just ask us, what do we need, and how can we develop it with you? And so co-developing technologies and shaping it to our customers, the students, and our customers, the teachers, is the way of the future. And you should be demanding that of every investment dollar that you have available in your districts, to make sure that it's demand-driven, not supply-driven.
And I would add to that, one thing you didn't mention, that I also served on the local school board in Northeastern Colorado. Anybody from Colorado? Waiting. Well, so Northeastern Plains, 200 kiddos, preschool through 12th grade. So to give you an idea of how small the school district is. But we got a best grant, built a new school, put a brand new board in every classroom, like every good, responsible school board and administration would do. And I would guess that maybe half of them are being used to their full capacity. So the question is, how do we ensure that our instructors and our instructional capacity can match up and marry up with that technology that goes along? I want to go back to, I did go to the release of the MIT interim report. And one of the pieces is we talked about that first question, how's the workplace changing? There are lots of fears that automation is going to get rid of all the jobs. In fact, my second son, who just graduated from Colorado State University 2 years ago, works for a small company called Trimble that does geospatial work, and they're heavy in construction and ag. And his current project that he's working on is taking road compactors and making them completely autonomous. Nice part is they only go 5 miles an hour, so the odds of them actually going over someone are small. But they need to still program with the eyes to make sure that it doesn't get a dog, a cat, or squirrel and cause any other damage that might be there. And he consistently tells me that we're coming after those jobs. But what he doesn't get, because he's young, is that he hasn't looked at the macro view that we don't have enough people to fill the current jobs that are available. And productivity is only going to increase by enhancing the technological capabilities of those that are employed in the workplace. I thought at that announcement, the IBM gentleman gave such a great story about it that, we look at cybersecurity, and some of your school districts and colleges in your states may be moving heavily down the path because we have a huge need in that area. Currently, most employment opportunities are only for baccalaureate degree individuals. But the gentleman made it very clear. He says, if we can take an associate's degree trained individual and equip them with an AI-enabled tool that is doing the majority of the scanning in the background, and then they have to really be trained to make a choice, we can absolutely get them to the same productivity as someone with a bachelor's degree. So work is changing because of the tools that we're being enabled with. Our students that are coming out today and in the future just need to be able to adapt and work to these tools. The Secretary of Education, my boss, always talks about a Dell report. And whether you believe prognosticators or not, their estimation is that by 2030, 85% of the jobs that are going to be out there, the students will be going into, aren't really formed yet. They're still evolving. You think about data science, one of the core needs right now. We didn't even think about data science. It's not in the zip codes, for goodness sake. It's not in our classification and instructional program. Cybersecurity is not in it, just if you look at the 2010 set. As those jobs continue to evolve, what we're talking about are kindergarten through 5th graders. That's the age group that's going to be going to work in 2030. How are we equipping them now to step into a brand new workplace that truly does not exist today? And I think we make them nimble with lots of digital and technological literacy.
What's happening in Denmark? What's the conversation about it through the technology disrupting?
I think that one of the things that we see is that instead of just having a lot of technology, we really invested a lot of money in technology in schools. We see a change where we are more focused on now how to have a model understanding of technology instead of having this mastery of technology before as a teacher can go out and teach it. Which also means that we are building new schools where we have, for instance, the Future Classroom Lab, where we have a lot of different technologies, not one for each, but we have a lot of difference. And what we are focusing on is more, not for the teachers to have demands, but maybe to have the students to have demands. And how can we help the the students to actually have the ability to choose between different technologies compared to what they're doing.